Hello everyone, friends. Today we will prepare passion fruit meringue tartlets, bright and very delicious. Their main feature is the contrast of flavors and textures: sour, fragrant cream, sweet, airy meringue, a sandy basket, and a thin, crispy layer. This is my little interpretation of the classic lemon tartlet. It turned out very tasty. Let us get cooking. Let us start with the base, the sandy baskets. Not long ago, we prepared pistachio raspberry tartlets together, and I am using baskets from that very same batch. I will leave a link to the recipe under the video as they are made using that same method. It is convenient that from one batch of dough you can make tartlets with different fillings. I will cover these tartlets with what is called a glaze, a mixture of egg yolk and cream. Carefully brush the cooled baskets inside and out with a thin layer using a brush, and place them in the oven at 160 degrees for literally 5 to 7 minutes, so the glaze sets but does not start to darken. Otherwise, the baskets may dry out and become brittle. Look at how beautifully the glaze shines. Its main task is to protect from moisture, and it also gives the baskets an appetizing appearance. Let us prepare the crispy layer. It will perfectly complement these tartlets. We will need wafer crumbs, white chocolate, and neutral vegetable oil. Melt the chocolate, add the oil, and mix well. Introduce the wafer crumbs and mix so that each piece is coated with chocolate. Apply to the bottom of the tartlets and distribute evenly. Make the layer thin. It will add a pleasant crunch without overwhelming the flavor. Place the bases in the refrigerator to stabilize, and in the meantime, let us prepare the cream. For the cream, we will need passion fruit puree, lime juice, lemon juice, eggs, sugar, and butter. In a bowl, combine everything except the eggs, passion fruit puree, lemon juice, lime juice, and sugar. Mix and place over a double boiler so that the bowl does not touch the boiling water. Alternatively, you can use a saucepan with a thick bottom. Heat the mixture slightly, just enough for the sugar to begin dissolving. Separately, whisk the eggs so that the whites and yolks are combined and add them to the mixture. With constant stirring, cook the cream until it thickens and reaches a temperature of 82 degrees. However, it is important to note that due to the high acidity, the cream may thicken earlier, already at 78 to 80 degrees. So the thermometer is not the main guide. It is more important to watch the consistency. At some point, the cream becomes thicker and heavier. Immediately remove it from the heat and pour it into another dish. We need to cool the cream to 45 degrees, after which we will add cold butter. I cool the cream in a flat container, stirring occasionally. The temperature drops to the desired 45 degrees quite quickly. Then I pour the cream into a glass for working with a blender, add cold butter cut into cubes, straight from the refrigerator. First I mix with a spatula and then thoroughly combine everything with an immersion blender until a smooth emulsion is achieved. The butter should completely dissolve. As a result, the cream becomes smooth, aromatic, and has a rich flavor that combines a bright tanginess with a gentle buttery taste. Fill the tartlets with the cream over the crispy layer, leaving a little space from the edge. The cream will stabilize right in the tartlets. This will take about 4 hours in the refrigerator. Once it stabilizes, we will prepare the meringue. We will be making a classic Italian meringue. For the syrup, you will need sugar and water, as well as egg white and a little sugar, which we will add to the egg white. In a saucepan, combine the water with the sugar and set it to cook the syrup. We need to bring it to 118 degrees. Gently stir with a spatula to dissolve the sugar. When the syrup starts to boil and the temperature approaches 110 degrees, begin whipping the egg white. First, whip to a light foam, then add a small portion of sugar, the one intended for the egg white. Whip until you achieve a uniform foam with fine bubbles. At this stage, it is important for the egg white to be in a light, fluffy foam, and the syrup to be approaching 118 degrees. If the egg white is whipped and the syrup is not ready yet, it is better to stop whipping or switch the mixer to the lowest speed. Otherwise, the egg white will be overwhipped and become dry. As soon as the syrup reaches 118 degrees, let it settle for just a few seconds from the vigorous boiling and begin to pour it in a thin, continuous stream into the whipping egg white. After this, continue whipping at high speed until the mixture cools and becomes a snow-white, glossy, voluminous meringue. But it is important not to over-whip. It should remain elastic. If whipped for too long, the meringue becomes crumbly and loses its flavor. This is how the meringue should turn out. Transfer the meringue into a pastry bag with a nozzle and pipe it onto the tartlets. The cream has already stabilized, and this is how it looks. You can shape the top with any nozzle or even spoon it on, whatever is convenient for you. I wanted voluminous, expressive tops. Notice how the meringue holds its shape beautifully, but the little peak remains elastic. I lightly torch the meringue with a gas burner. The texture is beautifully highlighted, forming a thin crust that protects the meringue from becoming soggy for longer and gives the dessert an appetizing volume. This is how our tartlets turned out. They look impressive. This is how the tartlet looks in cross-section: a crispy layer, vibrant cream, and fluffy meringue. It turned out refreshing, balanced, with a pleasant contrast in everything, from taste to texture. Friends, that is all from me. I thank you all for your attention. See you in new videos. Bye-bye.